It's 2:30 a.m. on a busy Saturday morning. Friday nights are usually busy, but tonight our hotel had received all the passengers from a diverted flight. So I just spent the last hour and a half checking in 60 plus unhappy people and was now drowning in airline vouchers and paperwork. I step away from the front desk to use the copier, and when I return a minute later, there's a man slouched against it with a can of beer on the counter. We have a beer fridge up here, but I can't sell any after midnight. So my first words to this gentleman are to apologetically inform him that, unfortunately, I can't sell alcohol this late. This is always awkward, but guests trying to wrench the door to the fridge open after hours has ruined the lock. So I get lots of practice. He tells me that the beer is his, and he just wants a new key card for his room. Okay, of course. I apologize for misunderstanding. I can certainly get him a new key. I request his ID, explaining the policy about needing to check when I hand out keys. And he gives me his license without complaint. And then, suddenly, he's angry. Not just a little angry, but startlingly angry. Livid, he doesn't appreciate being treated this way. How dare I talk to him like this? If I'm going to talk to him like that, he's going to give it right back. I'm a F racist. I'm a F piece of shit. He's going to get me fired. Ruin my life. I'm FKED. I just stand there, blinking. He didn't seem to mind my asking for his ID. Was it the thing about the beer? Is this a joke? No, not a joke. He's screaming now. He's apoplectic. I tried to apologize. Sir, I'm so sorry I've offended you. It was not my intent. He's not hearing me. No, no, no! He screams over me. I know exactly what I did and now I'm fked. I'm going to regret this. He's going to make sure of it. I've handed him his new key by now, and he starts toward the elevator, yelling over his shoulder at me the whole way. I'm a King BTCH, but he's going to show me. I'm going to get what's coming to me. The elevator doors close on him. He screams about how much of a BTCH I am. By the way, I'm male. So please do not impute any misogynistic attitudes to our guest based on any of this. I'm stunned and my heart is to rapidly distributing adrenaline, but the puzzle is starting to come together. This guy must be on something. Either that or he's dealing with untreated mental illness. But he had the distinctive wiry, dentally deficient look of a meth enjoyer, so I'm betting drugs. I'll just put a note about this encounter in the day's log so that the elevator doors open. It's him again, and he's already screaming at me from across the lobby. He's calling the cops. He's pressing charges. He's on the phone with the police right now, and I'm feet. I'm going to be arrested. Okay, so definitely drugs. But now it's beginning to dawn on me that I don't actually know what this tweaker is capable of. He's not letting this go. There are almost 300 rooms in this hotel, but tonight I'm the only employee here, and me and this dude have the first floor all to ourselves. Usually, the hotel has a security guard on duty at night, but not tonight. It's just me. Our guest is now striding with great purpose toward the front doors, hurling invectives at me the whole way. Is he going outside to wait for the police? I can only hope. I watch him go. I couldn't get a word in if I tried. He appears to leave, and I continue typing my now somewhat expanded log entry. A minute later, he's back, headed toward the elevator, still yelling at the top of his lungs. Now he's telling me that he's called his lawyer. He's on a plane at this very moment, coming to ruin my life. I'm so feet. I may be TCH. I'm a King BTCH. The elevator doors close. 3 minutes later, the elevator descends and he's back, again stalking determinedly to the front doors, screaming at me as he traverses our voluminous lobby. He's starting to make me nervous. I don't think he actually ever called the police, and I'm beginning to entertain doubts as to whether this man even has an attorney on retainer. So just what is it that is repeatedly drawing his attention outside? Why does he keep making the same circuitous trip? It almost seems like he's working himself up to something. Does he have a vehicle out in the parking lot? Does he have a weapon in it? This continues for another 2 or 3 passes from the elevator to the parking lot and back as my level of concern increases with every loud ingress. I'm anticipating with growing alarm what implement of violence he might have collected during his absence. I know I need to act, but I don't know how to approach the situation. He hasn't technically done anything more than yell at me ... and he is a paying customer. I try again to apologize for whatever has agitated him, but again, he drowns out my words with denials and vulgarities. A few minutes later, he storms up to the desk and throws a handful of key packets at me, containing perhaps 8 keys between them. He's clearly requested new keys a few times since checking in this afternoon. He screams that I have locked him out of his room. He paid $150 for that room and he wants back in. I snuck up and locked him out because I'm a King BTCHN. I'd better give him new keys right now. I numbly go through the motions of coding new keys, trying to explain that I didn't lock him out, but he proves less than receptive to my words. Some part of my shell-shocked brain is wondering how all of these keys could have malfunctioned at the same time. Is he even trying the right door? No, of course he's not, because he's whacked out of his gourd. He rips the new key packet out of my hand and takes off back up the elevator, loudly issuing proclamations about my character and impending fate. I'm trying and failing to bring my focus back to paperwork when the elevator again discharges him, now yelling something about how he's got people coming. And when they get here, I'm feet. Okay, that's enough. I've never evicted a guest from the hotel before. I don't even know if I'm allowed to do that. But this deranged meth head is now explicitly threatening me with something other than dubious legal action. And if my own safety wasn't enough of a concern, I'm also responsible for that of the property and all the other guests here. So I tell him that if he doesn't stop harassing me and return to his room, I'm going to call the police and trespass him from the property. He loudly informs me that, in fact, I will be the one leaving the property, and he then reprises the classics for good measure. I reply that I'm calling the police, and then I do. He takes out his phone and starts filming me as he walks rapidly out to the parking lot. But I notice that he's no longer yelling. A lady answers and I stammer something mostly intelligible about how there's a guy at the hotel who is threatening me. I think he's high on something. I suspect violence is imminent, and I would really appreciate it if the patrol unit could swing by whenever it's convenient and assist me in making him leave. She assures me that a unit is on its way. I leave a voicemail for my GM explaining what I'm doing and why, and he texts me back immediately telling me that, well, he's out of state at the moment. He has my back and guests are definitely not allowed to threaten me. So I'm good to kick this guy out. Our guest makes a couple more circuits of the lobby, but now he's ostentatiously filming me with his phone and muttering about how he's got people on the way and I'm going to find some things out when they get here. I silently assure him that we have this in common. Two police officers arrive 15 minutes later, and I'm very glad to see them. Our guest has now retired to his room, probably in anticipation of their arrival. So the cops ask me to clarify that I am formally trespassing the individual in question from the property. I confirm this and further express that I've never had to do this before, but I'm ready to cooperate in whatever capacity needed. Is he a long-term tenant because tenant law would then be in effect? No, officer. He checked in yesterday afternoon and is due out today. The officers begin to put on gloves and then the phone at the front desk rings. It's our guest's room. I pick it up and our guest informs me that his friends are coming. And when they get here, I'm feet. And also I'm ABTCH. I convey the gist of this to the two officers. They tell me that they're going to go up to our guest room, and they'd prefer if I remain in the lobby. Of course, officers, whatever you say, and thanks again for your help. They depart up the elevator. A scant few minutes later, the two officers debark from the elevator and approach me. Our guest is conspicuously not with them. They tell me that our guest has declined to open his door. They knocked, but he didn't answer. Is he definitely in the room? Yes, he just called the front desk phone from that room as you were standing here. Can we call the room and speak with him? Certainly. Let me dial the room now. I do so and hand the phone to the officer. He reports that nobody is picking up. I tell the officers that I have the master keys with me right now, and I'm more than happy to assist in getting the door open. The two officers exchange a look. The lead officer informs me that our guest has a reasonable expectation of privacy as long as he's in his room, and the police department will under no circumstances violate this. I'm confused. I tell him that I've confirmed with the general manager of the hotel that this guest is no longer our guest. Ergo, it's no longer his room, but rather it's the hotel's room, and the hotel is private property upon which this drug-induced psychotic is currently trespassing. I remind him that this man has repeatedly threatened me and that I am at this very moment expecting the arrival of a group of his associates, at which time I've been assured I will be feet, which, while non-specific, is surely a term implicative of danger to my person. I ask him what he's suggesting that I do about all of this. The lead officer tells me that I can follow whatever hotel policy I want, but that he is under a supervisory directive not to act or appear to act in any way as an agent of a private business. So they will not be assisting me in evicting anyone. He will in fact not even go so far as to accompany me up to the room, as that would constitute appearing to act as an agent of the hotel. He gives me his business card and assures me that they will intervene if our guest assaults me, and suggests that I should call the police if I see him again. I ask him what the point of that would be. He says something polite, then they leave. So, as it turns out, our guest was correct and I am, in fact, ABTCH. There was nothing I could do other than try to get back to work and hope that he would leave me alone, and that his friends wouldn't roll up and beat me to death in the lobby, as inoffensive covers of 90s pop hits play on the sound system. I guess I could have walked off the job, and maybe I should have. I spent the rest of the night too jittery with adrenaline to concentrate and tensing up every time the elevator opened or the automatic doors stirred. His friends never did show up, neither did his lawyer, and he never came back down to the lobby. I guess he decided to turn in and have a restful rest of his night, secure in the knowledge that I was ABTCH. Who could do nothing to stop him from doing whatever the FCK he wanted. Then I went home and tried to relax, only to realize that I couldn't stop shaking, and I was way too wired to sleep. I don't know what the lesson of this story is, other than that the police here are less than impressive, that being a night auditor might actually be kind of dangerous, and that I don't get paid enough for this.